Nation, what's going on? Shout out to Madman Raider. What week will Marinelli take over the defense? So this is something that I've talked about multiple times, and I think the reason why the Raiders went out and got Rod Marinelli is to take over for Paul Gunther. I'll say if it happens during the Raiders' Week 6 bye, because you have the Chiefs Week 5, you have the Bills Week 4, Patriots 3, Week 1's the Panthers, and then Week 2 is the Saints. There's some tough games in there, and if the Raiders' defense isn't playing well, I think you make the switch at the bye. So that's my prediction if it does happen. Let's go to Jesus. What up, Jesus? Have you heard the rumors that the Raiders should trade for Dak Prescott since he's better than Carr? Source TPS. So, important thing here, okay? TPS is like hot garbage when it comes to sources, and I don't want people to source Instagram accounts. Like, TPS is not good. All right, I'm just going to burst your bubble. In terms of Dak Prescott trade rumors, there are no rumors whatsoever. This one is zero Chucky Heads. Tuck will tuck that. If you see something from TPS, 100% it's made up. That's what they do. Sorry. So I want you guys to grow the nation. Subscribe for daily videos. The link is below. So we do live Q&As. I'm getting close to being able to do 2 live shows every single week. And in order to do that, I'm trying to get to 48,000 subscribers by next show. So take the link below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Send it to your friends. Tweet it out. Post it on IG. All you got to do is tag me, and I'll share it as well. Also, I do want to give a shout-out to the people who have been super chatting a lot more frequently on the shows. And if you want to get your name on the show, send in a bigger super chat than $24.99. I'll put it on next week. Robert, Kirby, JC, Louie, and Henry, much appreciated to all y'all. Let's go to Tyler. What up, Tyler? Get a pick. Are you happy that we got Ruggs instead of Lamb? I had CeeDee Lamb ranked higher. I think CeeDee Lamb still would have been a better fit. But when I see a lot of the moves that the Raiders have made this offseason, I get the move for Ruggs. It does make a lot of sense. You can't teach speed. And if you're Mayock, if you're Gruden, and a lot of the reports were that the entire room was sold on Ruggs, not everyone in the Raiders draft room was sold on Lamb, you trust your gut and you go for it. You know, as much as I think I know a lot, I'm going to trust Mike. I'm going to trust John. Those guys know what they're doing. Let's go to Liam. What up, Liam? With the impact of the Big C on the offseason, do you think we will be more creative on offense down the stretch with the rookies embedded in Gruden's system? I do think that you're going to see a much different Raiders offense. I think when you look at the additions of, Lynn Bowden, Marcus Mariota, then you also have a player like Henry Ruggs who's going to be able to mix it up a little bit. I'm excited to see a lot of these different formations that the Raiders do. You're going to see a lot of 3 tight end set. John also said he wants to be able to spread you out 4 or 5 wide. I know that this is still going to be a run-heavy team, but the Raiders' offense is going to be different, and it's going to be a lot of different looks that I think are going to confuse a lot of teams. Sebastian, what up, brother? What is the plan for Bryan Edwards? The plan for Bryan Edwards is to get him up to speed as quick as possible and for him to show what he's got. And I think the reason why they went out and drafted Edwards in round 3 is because if Tyrell Williams doesn't work out, Tyrell is scheduled to make $11 million next year. Dead cap hit, if he's cut, is 0. If Tyrell doesn't show up to be that number, 1B receiver, then you move on from him. And then you have a player like Bryan Edwards who 4 years at South Carolina showed that he can get it done and he can play at a pretty high level. So, personally, I think that's the plan for Bryan Edwards. My plan is to go to Raiders football games, and I want to be able to go to all 16, and I want all y'all to be able to go to all 16. So do your part, wash your hands, and if you got to wear a face mask, Mom, I'm looking at you. I know you don't want to wear one. Please do it. I'll send them to you, all right? Chatsports.com/Raiders Face Shield. You can get all 3 of these that you see on screen for $24.99. But since we've been selling these things like crazy, they are on back order. You'll get them in July. So warning, if you don't take advantage of these deals, you might not be able to get a Raiders face mask at all. And then you're going to be the guy that has to wear, a normal nurse mask. Nobody wants that. Rep your team. It's in the comments, and it's in the description. Jason. What up, Jason? Get a pick, man. I know you watch the show. Hey, Mitch, do you see the Raiders trading Clelin Ferrell for Josh Allen, or do you think he could learn from Chuck Smith? Go Raiders. First off, I like Josh Allen a lot when he came out, and yes, I had Josh Allen ranked higher. The Jags, they don't trade Josh Allen for Clelin Ferrell. Let's just, get that out of the way first. But no, I don't see the Raiders moving on from Clelin, because if you move on from Clelin and you trade him, that's just going to be a major, major L for this team. And I still have high hopes in Clelin, a player who, you look at what he did at Clemson in 2017, 2018, heck, even 2016. He was one of the most dominant defensive ends in all of college football. I do think the change to the NFL kind of hit him a little bit more than he expected. Hopefully he put in a lot of work this offseason, and hopefully he comes in to produce. Let's go to Trelly. What up, Trelly? Do you think Ruggs will bust? Can we keep up with the Chiefs? Keeping up with the best team in the NFL is not going to be easy. However, I do think a lot of the moves the Raiders made is kind of Chiefs-esque, where you have a lot of players with a lot of speed, where they're going to be able to do a lot of different things. Do I think Ruggs is going to be a bust? I hope not, though. Mike even said it himself. There's been a lot of busts in the NFL draft when you look at receivers, because receivers more, you got to rely on the quarterback as well. And if Derek struggles, yeah, Ruggs could bust. However, there is one thing that you can't teach, and it is speed. I do think Ruggs is going to be able to be used in a lot of different ways. So, Henry, I'm hoping it works out, man. Let's go to Manny. What up, Manny? Appreciate the question. Remember, use hashtag Raiders, or you guys can super chat. We got, what do you think of our defense? What do you think of our defensive needs are? I still think in terms of overall needs, you probably need a little bit more depth at the linebacking position. At cornerback, there is a lot of players. Now, if Keyshawn Nixon can step up, Isaiah Johnson steps up, if Nevin Lawson can just be a little bit of a reliable player, you don't need a lot of additions there. At safety, I'm pretty comfortable. And then defensive line, it really comes down to Arden Key. If Key can be that backup to Max, I say we're good at defensive end. But if you'd ask me what position is the most likely we go out and sign a free agent, I'd probably say defensive end. Now, I don't think it's going to be a Jadeveon Clowney. I don't think it's going to be an Everson Griffin. But we still need a little bit of depth behind a player, like Max. So I've been promising y'all I'll give some shout-outs here on Instagram. So if you want a shout-out, follow me on Instagram right now at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's give some shout-outs. Where we got, who do we got? I got Camacho _61, Dulo Cursuso, Lil Stinker _15, Roman Cilia, Coach _J Johnson, O.JXSSE, and then Frito Lay Jason. Some of y'all's names crack me up. So if you want a shout out on IG, hurry up, go give me a follow real quick. We're giving some shout outs. Some people who already followed me. J Dizzle period for real. Autumn _win. Rodolfo 400. Raiders of Vegas. All right, we got LVLS _Daniel. Landon _10. All right, those are the last two people. Refresh. Let's keep the show moving. Winner, what is your fave team on the Raiders? I'm reading that correct. I guess the Raiders? Favorite player on the Raiders? I mean, my favorite team on the Raiders is definitely the Raiders. My favorite player, I'll say current player is Max. And then my favorite old player of all time is Bo Jackson. I'm a big baseball fan. My dad has told me numerous times that Bo is like the greatest athlete he's ever seen. And go back and watch his highlights. There's a reason why he's averaged like 6.8 yards per carry. So if you guys want to let me know who your favorite current and past Raider player is, hey, go for it. Good 420. Who do you think our breakout player will be this year? Well, good 420. I got high hopes for a lot of players. And if you want to go check out a video that I made, I put out 8 players that I think that could break out in 2020. I'll give you one on offense. It's Josh Jacobs. I'll give you one on defense. It's Trayvon Mullen. To go see the other 6 players, go check it out on the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Let's go to a guy that needs to get a picture. Raul Baltazar. Which of the wide receivers additions, with all the wide receiver additions, who will impact, I guess, Keelan Doss? I think when you look at Keelan Doss, the fact that Bryan Edwards is going to make the team, Lynn's going to make the team. I would say, obviously, Hunter Renfrow, Tyrell, Henry Ruggs, they make the team. I think it's going to come down to Zay Jones, Nelson Aguilar, and then sleeper pick here, Rico Gafford. The reason why I think Rico is different than all those other guys, he brings a lot of speed, and he does bring some special teams help. I think if Keelan wants to make the team, he needs to show up. He needs to show up big. So if Keelan wants to make it, he needs to show up Nelson and a player like, Zay Jones. I think that's his best chance to make it. Let's go to Jason. What up, Jay? Name another player you can compare to Tanner Muse. Another player that I can compare to Tanner Muse. So Tanner played safety. He's going to try to move to linebacker. Oh, man, off the top of my head, I don't really have a player comparison, honestly, for Tanner Muse. Tom, do you know anybody off the top of your head? Yeah. Jason, hit me up later. I don't really see – we don't see too often a player who's played safety who's going to add a lot of weight and then try to play linebacker. Somebody said Barry Church, which is an interesting comparison, I guess. But let me do a little bit more research. Hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. I'll give you a better answer. But you're looking just for players that can play multiple roles. And I think that's one of the big reasons why the Raiders wanted to go out and get a player, like Muse. Let's go to Wheeler Michael 86. Do you think... All right, so Trayvon Mullen can solidify that number one cornerback spot? I do. I think he started to show that at the end of last year. And anytime I see a player who steps up when you need him to, I think that's an important role, right? I mean, he was a big-time player at Clemson, one of the reasons why they won a national championship. But when you looked at all the injuries, when you looked at some of the players that we were supposed to have, really take that next step, and, one of those players was Garyon Conley. As soon as Garyon Conley got traded, that's when Trayvon started to play his best football. And anytime you get a young player who's a rookie who's asked to just kind of take up that big cornerback one role, yeah, you could also say, Darryl Worley was also a cornerback one, but Trayvon took it on himself. He's been saying how hard he's been working the entire offseason. He's been posting videos. He's been doing all the right things. I got a lot of confidence in him. So, yeah, I think there is no doubt that Mullen's going to be our cornerback one. It's just going to be a matter of, can he kind of be, we'll say, can we say like Mullen Island? Like, that's what I hope. I hope he can be a top 10 corner. But ultimately, I don't know if it'll happen. We got Mr. Happy. Who scores the most touchdowns? I mean, overall, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. I think he's clearly going to have the most touchdowns. But if you're asking me from a receiving standpoint, boy, that's a tough one. I'm going to put my money on Tyrell Williams, who I think showed last year when healthy. Did have the most touchdowns. I think yards is going to be Darrell Waller. But don't be surprised, my sleeper, in terms of touchdowns, could be Foster Moreau. I mean, we are going to run a lot of 3 tight end sets. And last year, Foster was targeted 7 times in the red zone. He brought in 5 of those. If that number doubles, you guys are good at math, maybe we'll get 10 touchdowns. So we got XX Gucci Mane XXH. Is Jalen Ramsey a target to get next year? Is he a target? Sure. But when it comes to Ramsey, it all comes down to price. So on Tuesday, when this show was filmed, Jalen announced that he is going to show up to Rams training camp. But remember, when it comes down to Jalen, it comes down to money, right? He said the exact same thing last year with the Jags. And he did show up, but he showed up in a Brinks truck because he wants money. And for a player who's going to get that big-time contract in 2021, I mean, honestly, if Trayvon plays the way that we hope he can, and if Damon Arnett can show that he can be a solid cornerback too, we don't need to go out and get Jalen Ramsey because he is going to ask for an arm and a leg. Now, if those players don't play well, then sure, maybe you go and get Ramsey, who has said before that, hey, I would love to be a Raider. If I missed your question, hit me up on IG. It's at Mitchell Renz 365. And remember, I'm going to be doing a special Raiders report Friday, June 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so put that in your calendar. Now, we got 751 people watching us live, a lot of people there. I'm getting ready to wrap up the show, so I'm going to go to my DMs. If you haven't already, hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.